Now I know you're lying.
And I am rolling. Look, my friend, first, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I got to ask you, how are you feeling physically right now? You know, you have a lot of fans out there who are thrilled that you're going to be back this weekend.
No, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's definitely been a long road to recovery for sure, but I can honestly sit here and say that I'm 100% healthy, 100% fit. In fact, I'm probably fitter than I've ever been. You know, when you take away all responsibilities but get back healthy and get back fit, it's amazing, you know, with some motivation, what you can accomplish.
You know, for folks who may not know anything about the crash, can you talk a little bit about it? What was the race and what exactly happened?
So it was last May, practicing for the Indianapolis 500, and I had a suspension failure in the middle of turn 3, and it made me hit the wall at just a hair under 400 kilometers an hour, which doesn't tickle. And unfortunately, in the accident, part of the car's suspension actually came through the tub of the race car, and it impaled me. So a lot of soft tissue damage in my legs and thigh, and it also struck an artery, so bleeding to death was a very serious risk. And you know, my surgeon will tell you that I was a minute or two away from that fate, unfortunately. But I had a great team of safety guys that got me out of the car, an incredible team of doctors that were able to perform surgery, you know, less than 30 minutes after the accident, kind of thing. And I'm able to sit here today and still be able to go race IndyCars.
You know, what blew me away, though, was the fact that you said when you woke up you were ready to race again.
Of course. I mean, mentally, yeah. I mean, mentally, I wanted to get back in the car right away. You know, we were heading up to the Indy 500. It's the biggest race of our year, and I was kind of struggling with the realization that I wasn't going to get to drive in it, or ever, you know, or any other races for the rest of the season. But I think racing drivers are just fundamentally wired a bit differently than everybody else, and the fact that I woke up in hospital and you know, one of the first questions I asked was, when can I get back into a car? It just proves that we're not all there upstairs.
But definitely, though, I mean, what did you have to do for rehab to get back into the shape that you're in now?
Well, it was a couple things. I mean, obviously, a lot of the tissue damage was to my legs and thigh, and so once that healed, there was a lot of strength, a lot of flexibility, and things that we had to work back into my lower body, but for all those wounds to heal, I had to just kind of sit around and do nothing. And when you do nothing, you lose all fitness. My core was very weak. I had abdominal surgery to get to the artery to block that up on the day, and so I had to wait for all that to heal, and then start building the strength back in my core. My neck took quite a big strain in the accident as well, so I had to let that heal before I could start building up my neck muscles, which is a huge part of driving an IndyCar. So it was a step-by-step process for sure. You know, the big first step was just healing, was resting and letting everything heal, and then from then on, it was a lot of work to try and get that fitness level back to where it needs to be.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I remember I was there at the Indy. You helped start Toronto Indy. What was that like, coming back and hearing the fans?
It was phenomenal. You know, for me, this race in Toronto here, I've been going to it every year since I was 18 months old. My dad brought me to my first one, you know, at a year and a half, and I've been to every single one since, either as a fan or a participant. And I wasn't going to break that streak and miss it. You know, it was the first time I was cleared to travel after the accident. It was only about a little over a month after the wreck, and so it was tough. It was tough to travel, you know, in the condition I was in, but I really wanted to be here for the race and for the Canadian fans. They've been so supportive of me in my entire career, never mind over the accident. I mean, that was overwhelming in itself, but the support that I felt from day one in an IndyCar, from, you know, this country and this city in particular, and I wanted to be there, and they asked me to be the Grand Marshal, so still got to be part of the race even if I wasn't in it.
Now, you're getting ready for this weekend, and you kind of mentioned it early during the press conference in a question I asked about, physically how you're feeling. You talked about a little bit about the neck injury. Do you mind talking about that again?
No, sure. My neck was very strained. I bruised badly the first vertebrae that, you know, sort of connects your neck to your skull, and so any sort of motion was very painful for a long time. And the swelling, you know, in the bone and in the fluid, yeah, it's kind of around that area. It took a while for that to kind of calm down and get to a point where I was comfortable getting some range of motion back in my neck. And once I had the range of motion back, I could start building the muscle strength back, because obviously your neck takes a big beating getting pounded around IndyCar at 3, 4, 5 Gs.
Well, it sounds like you're ready, my friend. So what's the plan for this weekend? And again, for folks who may not realize, where you're going to be racing this weekend?
So yeah, our season kicks off this weekend down in St. Petersburg, Florida, and Sunday's the race. and it's the plan is just it's go go go. You know, I mean, we gotta push hard. The Verizon IndyCar Series is incredibly competitive at the minute. We've got to maximize every lap on track in practice, and maximize the new tires in qualifying, and then call the right strategy in the race. Ultimately, the biggest thing that you can control is just your own mistakes. As long as you don't make mistakes, you're going to be in a position to be winning races.
And last but not least, of course, you got to be looking forward to coming back this year to the Toronto Indy, especially because it was moved in June because of the Pan Am Games, but now we're back in tradition form.
Exactly right. Back in our old time slot where we belong, mid-July, and I'm obviously thrilled to be able to come back and get to race here again. It did suck last year not being in the car, and Connor Daly filled in for me last year and did a great job. And not the best weather conditions. He did a really good job there. But I'm excited to get back into my car, back in my hometown, and hopefully put on a good show for everybody here.
Looking forward to, my friend, and thanks again for the interview.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.